So the next part of the program is the Peacemaker Awards that we give out mostly yearly, and we have a couple this year. So I'm going to, I think Linda, Sister Linda, are you prepared to introduce Jean? Yes. Oh, unmute.
Yeah, I have to get permission to unmute. Yes, so I'd like to introduce the different people, and the people who will need to be unmuted, Phil, are Rose Morrissey and then Sister Linda. And
sorry, which Linda? There are a couple. Which Linda?
Sister Linda Bessam. But first I'm gonna say a couple of words. So the purpose of the Peacemaker Award is to acknowledge the recipient's work for peace and serve as inspiration for the rest of us. By no means are they the only peacemakers among us. That said, the awards committee of Irene Descharnay, Nancy Carapeza, and myself were so pleased at the richness of the nominations we received. And it was especially inspiring to know that all this good trouble was happening in the time of COVID-19 with its shutdowns and social distancing. So peacemaking can still occur. So we decided to give more than one award this year. And as a plug, peacemaking happens in ways large and small, public and private. So look around you, think ahead. Next year is our region's 30th anniversary, and we'd like to celebrate with nominations of both the youth and adult peacemakers. We didn't have any youth nominees this year, and they do not have to be Pax Christi members. So may this year's crop of peacemakers inspire you. The recipients of our first award are children of the Second Vatican Council. Pope Paul VI's call, "If you want peace, work for justice," inspired their lives, and Rose Morrissey will introduce you.
She needs to be unmuted. All right, she needs to be.
Rose, I've asked you to unmute.
Sorry. In 2013, Charlotte and Roger Stanley, Brian Eschmankis, and Lifetime Peacemaker Award recipient Sue Malone answered a request from a group of inmates at the Massachusetts Correctional Institution at Shirley for help in starting a Pax Christi chapter inside the prison. In 2014, the Stanleys and Brian Eschmankis began a Pax Christi instruction program for the inmates. From that time until March of 2020, when the prison closed down to visitors because of COVID, the Stanleys traveled to MCI Shirley every month to attend the Pax Christi meetings and lend their support to the inmates. It was an honor to have nominated Charlotte and Roger Stanley for a 2021 Peacemaker Award. Now I would like to introduce Brian Eschmankis.
I don't know if he's on.
Thanks so much, Rose. To this day, I think it's this chapter that was started with Charlotte and Roger. I think it's the only Pax Christi chapter inside of a prison, although it's very appropriate because as the Pax Christi original, when Pax Christi International was founded inside a POW camp. So it's kind of like we've always thought it's kind of coming home. It started in a prison and it's now in a prison again. And as Rose mentioned, this group we started meeting monthly starting in August 2014 inside the prison, which these inmates had kind of created a chapel out of an old weight room by their own initiative. And they continued meeting, Charlotte and Roger did, through March 2020, essentially, until they couldn't go anymore. And it's kind of and we're still wondering what will happen when, as far as opening it up again. But it was every month. And then for the first 6 months, it was kind of led by Charlotte, Roger, and myself trying to, we used a book, Love Beyond Measure, which was kind of an instruction book on the spirituality of nonviolence. And then after that, really the leadership passed to the inmates themselves. And I believe it's still with them, that we became participants doing ministry with them rather than for them or to them. And so Our Lady of Guadalupe Chapel, and it's still there. And it's, for a good amount of time, one of the inmates, Tim Hughes, was kind of taking a leadership role in the group. He thankfully has since been released, and I believe is either getting married or recently got married. And and then we had Deacon Artie, who had gotten a previous award, who was the chaplain. And so really it was their work, and they had started working on, just as all of our local groups have done, kind of focus on certain issues. And they had focused very understandably on the death penalty and making sure that stays illegal in Massachusetts and expanding its thing. Some were affected by that directly, like are alive today because the death penalty is not around, and restorative justice. So they really focus on those two issues. And so with all that, it just was an amazing ministry. And it's my honor to now introduce and present this award to Charlotte and Roger Stanley, who I think initiated, founded, and led this amazing ministry, and inside of a prison, creating a Pax Christi group, where nonviolence maybe is needed the most.
Oh,
Gotta turn.
I'm sorry, Brian, who were you in?
Oh, Charlotte and Roger Stanley.
Last name again?
Stanley.
Oh, okay, so that's gonna. I didn't realize that, so give me a second. I'm gonna have to find it.
Oh, it's under Charlotte Stanley. It's under. Just saw them. Yeah, they're waiting.
I still don't see it, sorry.
Oh, good.
Charlotte Shandley.
Stanley,
Handley.
STAN. Right there.
it's the couple there, Charlotte.
Oh, there
and-
we are. Yep, see it. Sorry about that. Make go ahead. There you go.
I might have to ask you to hold this.
Yeah, you,
Can you unmute yourself, Charlotte?
yeah, I've prompted you to unmute yourself. There's a button in the lower left with a microphone symbol.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. We couldn't do it before, it wouldn't let us. Can you hear us?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for the kind words. We deeply appreciate it. Can you hear?
Yes,
Absolutely, yes.
All right, okay.
Do you have anything else you want to say, or shall we go on?
Oh, no, well, we were just quickly going to say we could never have done any of this without all the names that have been previously recorded or mentioned, Sue Malone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been such a pleasure and such an honor to be able to do the work that God calls us to. And again, we thank you for recognizing the value of this important project. And keep them all in your prayers as well, because it's very difficult for them.
I'd like to say that the scriptures this morning, if everybody read them, Jesus sent out the 12 apostles to spread the word. And that's exactly what we wanted to do with the inmates over at Shirley. And I think we built a community over there. And as it looks right now, I don't know whether we'll be able to go back, but I know that Jesus will direct us and the Spirit will guide us in the future there. So we give thanks to God for the ability to go over and share the word with these guys and to make them part of a community of believers and lovers. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to let everyone know that this is just but one thing that the Stanleys have done for peace and justice over their years in their parishes and other groups. And I thank them most sincerely. Now, when Pax Christi, Massachusetts became a region in 1992, I would venture to guess that receiving its Peacemaker Award was not anywhere on our next recipient's radar. And Sister Linda is going to tell us more about him. Linda, you there?
Yeah, I am. I'm waiting to be focused or whatever. I'm here.
Okay, why don't you go ahead about your guy?
Okay, here we go. I first met Sean Ellis. This is his picture right here. I don't know, Phil, if you're able to put his picture up on the screen or what have you. But he was arrested at 19 years old for a crime he didn't commit and spent 22 years in prison. He is amazing. I've heard him speak, and maybe that is at a future time we could arrange that as well. But truly, Sean Ellis, he was released in 2018, and then in 2020 it took for full exoneration of all his crimes. He is now currently engaged, and I'm sorry, I guess his Wi-Fi wasn't working, because he certainly was invited to come on and speak to us. But currently he surely fits in with the theme, remembering. He's calling us to repent and to restore. And I feel that his work at the New England Innocence Project, where he is the project coordinator and co-founder of the Exonerate Network. So anything that comes through the New England Innocence Project, they have done panel discussions, and to hear the stories of these wrongfully convicted, and the ones that I heard, 44 years in prison, 22 years in prison, etc. Their stories are very powerful. And currently, Sean is actually working to address the system of the criminal justice here in Massachusetts. And there's a bill in the legislature right now, House Bill 1797, an act to reduce mass incarceration. Put that on your schedule, because that needs to be, your legislators need to be contacted to move that bill forward. So I have heard him speak. I would also recommend that you view the Netflix rather, docuseries Trial 4. His whole story is right on there. And I believe next year a memoir is coming out, In for Life, by Elaine Alice Murphy. So his witness is just very powerful. He came out and framed the concept wounded, but not broken. Wounded, but not broken. And that sums up, I think, his spirit, very determined to heal, and his ongoing involvement in this transformation, especially of it, the criminal justice system, systemic racism against people of color, is just very important. He was fully exonerated in 2020 by Rachel Rollins, who hopefully will be the next Attorney General of Massachusetts. But again, the fact that he is working to get legislation passed to have the criminal justice system look seriously at transforming its incarceration without parole, etc. But all of those details are on the New England Innocence Project. He continues to touch me very much of his spirit of self-determination. I have cried with him, some of the setbacks that he has had, but he still pushes forward, and his determination. Definitely, this Peacemaker Award is something that I think is most appropriate. And I hope someday we're actually going to be hearing from him in particular. I'm sorry he wasn't able to come on today, but just his network alone, his project supports the practical, emotional, physical, and spiritual re-entry needs of exonerees. I can't imagine what it must be like after 44 years of prison. What do you do then? So watch that Trial 4. That will be a very concrete way. And if there's any other way or format that we can host the New England Innocence Project, maybe as something in the future down the road, I think it would be very worthwhile. So at least let's give an applause for Sean. So he'll be able to, when he gets the full recording later on, he'll be able to receive that. But may he continue in that spirit of being determined and the power that comes in working for justice and peace in a nonviolent way. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda, and I'm sure you will get the award to Sean.
Yeah. We're also going to present to him the book, Just Mercy, A Story of Justice and Redemption. I'm going to be giving that to him. So, right.
Great.